Hello and welcome. In this instructional clip, I'm going to treat the concepts of deviance and conformity. The goal of this clip is to give you a firm understanding of both concepts. Let me start by making a personal remark. Every morning I take the train to travel from my hometown to work. I live in the beautiful city of Deventer, more than 100 kilometers away from Leiden, and it takes 2 hours, door to door. Luckily, I can concentrate quite well, so I can spend all those hours in the train useful. During all my train travels, I've experienced lots of things. I, for example, had wonderful, unplanned conversations with total strangers who happened to sit next to me. I overheard people talking about the most private things of their life, like the way they broke up with their boyfriend. And I encountered aggressive passengers that were about to hit the train guard who had just given them a fine for not buying a train ticket. Luckily, I never encountered a fellow train traveler that felt the need to light up a cigarette. Never have I met a person that spontaneously started smoking in the train. Of course not, you might think. Who would possibly smoke in a train? That's not normal to do. Well, please know that only from 2004, smoking in trains in the Netherlands is prohibited. Before 2004, smoking during your train travels was allowed. You would, for example, find an ashtray next to every seat. And certainly when we go a bit further back in time, the 90s and before, people would generally accept smoking as a very normal thing to do in a train. Okay, now what does this train example learn us? Well, first and foremost, it sheds light on the concepts of conformity and deviance. Nowadays, smoking in trains is socially unaccepted. If someone would start smoking on a train, his or her behavior would be seen as deviant. It departs from the norms and expectations we have. What the example also shows is that what we consider to be deviant behavior is not fixed. Not so long ago, people would accept smoking on trains as very normal, and it was not considered deviant at all. Next to trains, norms regarding smoking changed in pretty much every way. For example, in earlier days, smoking close to babies was perfectly normal. Teachers in elementary schools would light up a cigarette during their classes. And smoking on the workplace was a normal thing to do as well. All these examples show that what is considered deviant or not depends on the time and place we live in. Some even say that through time, almost every behavior has at some time been qualified as deviant or conforming. Most people abide by established norms because they accept them as good, appropriate, and normal. This is the result of our socialization process, in which we come to learn and accept the ways of our culture as natural. Ideally, socialization brings about conformity. People behave conform existing norms because they want to, because it feels so natural. When conformity cannot be achieved voluntarily, other mechanisms may be used. And one such mechanism is what we call sanctions. Sanctions come in many ways: positive, negative, formal, and informal. An example of a negative, informal sanction would be people making fun of someone who forgets to zip his fly. It's a negative sanction because it shows an expression of disapproval of someone's behavior. And it's informal because it's a spontaneous and unofficial expression. No rule states that you should make fun of people for not zipping their flies, but this person is, however, still penalized. Sometimes it is very clear when people disapprove of someone's behavior. Take the example of Conchita Wurst, winner of the 2014 European Song Festival. Next to her singing capacities, Conchita became famous for other reasons. A clear distinction between male and female does not really apply to Conchita. He is born a boy, looks very female, but grows a beard. In response to Conchita winning the Song Festival and becoming famous for his/her remarkable appearance, some people started posting pictures on social media of them shaving their beards. And they added text like, "Prove you're not Conchita and shave." In sociological terms, these people are clearly showing their disapproval of how Conchita Wurst behaves. A good example of how people can sanction in negative and informal ways. Please note that sanctions are not only negative. There are many examples of positive sanctions, both formal and informal. I'm looking forward to discuss in class what sanctions you experience in making sure you do not deviate but conform to existing norms in society.